Welcome to Worship Artistry, I'm Nick, and today we're looking at my 2025 pedal board. If you saw my 2024 pedal board video, you'll notice that this is a different pedal board, and this is brand new to me. I love this thing so far. It's the Creation Music Company Elevation 24 Plus. I've really been digging it. It's got that angle to it, kind of like the old pedal train that I had, the PT2. It's the same width, but it just has one more row. So they have one that's the same size as the PT2, and actually they sent that one to Jason. That's the one Jason was really digging, because we've done work with these guys before for many years. Jason's been using Creation boards, and so they wanted to send us the new ones, and we made some new pedal boards with them, and we're just absolutely thrilled. So you can say this video is sponsored by them, and thank you, Creation Music. So I just wanted to run you through my new signal chain here, because I do have a lot more pedals on the board, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Talking about the base of the sound is my Jennings with Lambertone's Crema pickups in it. It's the humbuckers with my Honey picks. I love these things. They're so good. Running into my D20 by Rev and my Morgan MVP 23 by Morgan. Both are running out virtual cabinets through the Two Notes. I have a Two Notes Captor X, I believe it's called, and going direct out with the Rev. Gosh, it's just been phenomenal. I absolutely love that because I can hear it in my headphones right here. These are the Ultimate Ears Premiers. They're excellent. 21 drivers, absolutely wild. Been really, really loving these as well. But which I recommend, actually put some headphones in, because we'll have some cool, like, just the stereo wash is very fun, but the sound is very cool. So a lot of you will know that I use Rev like amps for a while now, and I absolutely love Rev and recommend everyone to go buy one. But I wanted a little bit different flavor, and they do like a very high gain amp, or like a vintage tone, but it's kind of like a modern, like an American kind of sound, right? There's like American and like British tones, like a Voxy kind of sound or a Marshall kind of sound. And I wanted those. I don't like the AC30, but I chose the MVP 23 because it has, it's got a very good mix between like an American and a British sound, and I don't really like the full-on British sound, so that was a good like median for me. And then the American sound of the D20 is just, oh, it's so nice, very pristine. I love it because it's very Fendery, but when you push it and you put overdrives into it, it doesn't get real flubby like the Fenders, and it just stays pristine. I absolutely love them. But getting into the board, as you can see, I have a patch bay. I run out into my amps and then from the guitar in. And I also have, they sent along just a power, so you could just plug right in from the outside. And underneath I have all my power and all the cabling ran. As you can see, this is pretty neat, but it's not like professional, like if you're going to send this off to like Goodwood Audio or whatever, or Brian A Million or whoever, right? This was done by me, and I like it. I really, really enjoy the layout. It looks really good to me. Will I change this out? Sure, I'm sure I will. I'll change a few pedals here and there. Going into here, I go into the patch bay with this cable here. Talking cables really, really quick. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. I'd like to get some new cables. I just need some more, and I don't really know which ones. So give me some recommendations, please. Then I go into my compressor here. This is new. It's the Empress Effects Compressor 2, made in Canada. I love it. This is made in Canada, made in Canada. Rev is made in Canada. So much Canada on my board. I'm basically a Canadian. I'm not, but I live very close to the border. About like 15 minutes, actually. Anyway, this is it's a very light compressor for me. I don't like a very squishy thing. But let me show that to you. Well, actually, let me show you the bass sound first, with just the amps. I do have Verb on. I always have Verb on. I'm very sorry, but I'm going to show it to you. It's always on. That was the bridge pickup of the Cremas. If you haven't heard of Lambertones, actually, we talk about them a lot on the channel. It's because they're excellent. I love Curtis and everything he's doing there. But moving back to pedals, actually, so the Empress effects, I have it very light. So my bass sound, I'll put it in the middle pickup position. I'll turn the compressor on, and you'll hear it, but maybe not so much. But if you have headphones, I recommend headphones. So there's a slight volume bump. It's basically unity. I don't want a major volume bump. It sounds like a volume bump, like, because it's really bringing some lows and the highs together. But it's very, very light. The input is at like 11. The output's almost noon. Release is slow. The attack's pretty fast. The mix is maybe 3/4 of the way up. Tone is noon. Here's a cool, like, the side chain, but I have that off. It was fun to experiment with, but off is fine for me. It is neat, though, that you can plug into the side here and choose any frequency, really, that you want, I guess. I don't understand all that, but that's neat. The compression, the ratio is 2-to-1, like I said, and I always leave that bad dude on. I just really like how it just brings everything kind of tight. Doesn't squish it, it just brings up some of the low notes, and it helps me play very dynamically how I have it set up. It's not just like I play very light and everything's loud, or very loud and whatever, you know what I mean. It's just, I play light and it actually is light. As you heard, it's not on very much. But from there I go into the Whammy Ricochet. It's the first pitch thing I have. I try to use it like, if I had the actual whammy with the expression on it, because this does the momentary switch with the ballistics. And here, I'll just show that to you real quick. So it's like, you can set it so that way it goes slow up and fast down. There we go. So that's fun, I like the octave and dry sound because it's just kind of normal sounding to me, but you can do 2 octaves and get really out there. Here we go. It's fun. I like to, if I turn the ballistics up, you can get a little wild with it. So. Whatever, it's fun. I don't use it too much. I just keep saying it's fun because it is. So that's basically how I use that, is just for fun. But moving on, I go from the whammy into the Pog here. Everybody really knows what a Pog does. You get that. From the Pog, I move on to the Tilt Boost. The Tilt Boost is boost. I really like it because of the Tilt EQ. I have it set kind of how I like it with these pickups. When I change over to like my Telecaster pickups, the Blondies by Lambertones, I will move the EQ to just suit it, to how I like it. And it works perfect. I love it. So here's the bass, and I'll kick it on. As you can tell, there's just like a little bit more girth to the tone, a little bit more low end to it. I am pushing it hard, very, very little. With all of these drives, you'll notice the gain is very, very low. I like to stack them. I just think it's fun to get the different kind of like flavors with it. But from the Tilt Boost, I go into the Kaisertronics Thrust. This thing's so cool. It's a mix between, it's a take on like a Timmy and a Blues Breaker kind of thing. It's not based on those things, but it's like a take on it, is the way I understand it. And, man, I really enjoy it. I love how I have it set up. It's for rhythm, effectively. So here it is with the bass, because I leave from here on out, I'll have the Tilt Boost on. I might turn it off when I get to some effects, but I typically have the Tilt Boost on with the compressor always on as well. So I'll start stacking things how I use them. So when I do clean stuff, it's the Tilt Boost. And then I'll have the Thrust on for kind of bigger rhythm things. And I'll also leave it on for cleaner things. Just how it's kind of in the mood, right? Here we go. Yeah, it's just got a really just a fun, interesting sound. Again, the gain is super low. This is the tone. It's very, very bright, this one. But I like how it's set, and the volume's turned up to really kind of push some things. And yeah, that's really cool. Moving on to the Opaque Drive by Substation Onyx. I've had this on the board for years now. I like this one so much. A buddy of mine, Eric, sent this to me to try out of Texas. Super cool dude. Talks to me about this thing, and he's way smarter than me, so I understand like how I like sounds. So I can't really tell you too much like about the technical side of things of this, but he can, so reach out to him. Eric Fowler is his name, so Substation Onyx, and then you can go like substationonyx.com, I think. But the silver side, I have that set up for a rhythm kind of sound, so it's very transparent or opaque. It's just, it doesn't take or add anything really. I really like that, and I like these switches too because it's full, classic, and attack. And they actually sound different. That's the that's the cool thing. A lot of pedals you switch it and it's like, oh yeah, maybe, yeah, if I squint my eyes and yeah, and I go listen to it outside, then there's a difference. But anyway, so here's the bass sound, and I'll kick on the silver side. And hopefully you can hear that there is even just a little bit more low end on that. So it has even a little bit more girth to it, just a little bit more chunk, kind of is how I imagine it. It's just a good rhythm sound, you know, you can just rock out to that all day. And if you want an even hotter sound, I like to then turn on the thrust with the silver, and here's that sound. So silver, and then I'll turn the thrust on. Yeah, that pushes through nice. I like that. But then going back to the Opaque Drive and the gold side, it's got 3 clipping modes: soft, boost, and hard. And how I have it right now is on a hard. I really like that. It's kind of, it's sweet kind of sounding. It's a little bit higher sounding, so I have the tone turned down just a little bit, but the volume's almost at unity, noon roughly, and the gain's really low as well. But as you'll hear, it does boost it with some gain. And then those two together just sound killer for just a big. Like I said, I like to use the silver side as like a rhythm kind of sound, and then I'll kick the gold on for a big lead kind of sound. It just really makes it really thick and just kind of chewy sounding. That's how I imagine it. I know it sounds kind of stupid, and us guitarists are kind of like, yeah, let's use this word to describe a guitar, like delicious. Yeah, we're weird. Get over it, right? So I'll go back and forth between the gold and silver so you can kind of hear that. Here's the gold first, though. Hopefully you can tell the difference there. It just pushed a little bit more of the gold. It's a little sweeter sounding to me than the silver, which is not, it's not dull. It's just has like some more low end and less highs in it, kind of. But so together though, this is what they sound like. So here's the bass, and I'll kick them both on. It just really has just a lot of flexibility with it, in my opinion. So I like to have those on at the same time, and sometimes I'll kick the thrust on too, because I'll have that big rhythm sound. So a little rhythm sound by itself, right? Big rhythm sound together, and then with the gold side of the opaque, big good lead sound pushing through, right? So you asked me how I then use the G2 by Rev, because I have so many already. And all right, so basically this is like I act like this is a preamp, and this is like a new channel kind of introduced into my amp somehow, right? And then I use these to push that channel, so to speak. That's how I look at it. I understand that's not like right, so but whatever. Just come with me here. So this is the anniversary. This is the V2, the version 2 of the G2, and usually these are all green. But this has got a cool like paisley like decoration to it. It's pretty cool actually, in my opinion. But it does have a different circuit than the version 1, and it feels so much better. The sound is still there. It's still great like the other one. But when you kicked on the version 1, in my opinion, you kind of lost that amp feel. And you don't with this one at all. It's excellent. It in my opinion, is so much better. Greatly improved. Good job, guys. But how I use it again is like a preamp, like a second channel, and then I'll push it with my other pedals. It's never like a real boost kind of thing, but I will use it with just the gold for like a lead or something, because I don't want to push a bunch of gain into it because this is already kind of gainy. But then what's really fun about this pedal too, for like some recording things, I'll just crank the volume because the gain's almost all the way off here. So here it is. Here's the bass sound. Again, the tilt boost is on, the compressor's still on, and I have some light reverb. And I'll kick on the G2. So it does sound like really like a lot more, but it's still pretty clean. The gain's very low, but when I play those big cowboy chords, it does sound like a lot. But if I play like an individual note, it kind of gives you a little bit more idea of what the gain is like. So it's still pretty low. But then, like I said, I kind of use it like as like a preamp idea when I do like a solo or something. So, you know, so yeah, I think you get the idea. But like I said, if I turn the volume all the way up, it does this really fun, like it just, like, you can push anything and it gets really big. But this one to me, it just, I don't know, it just sounds different. It sounds really fun. So. It just gets really big and just has a lot of great like tones that just kind of weren't there before. And so that's a fun way to use it as well. Yeah, so going on to like the more modulated things and effects based, like wet effects, and then getting into stereo. I'm done with the drives. Well, actually, I do like to try to turn them all on. And I don't know if you saw that Cory Wong video not too long ago where like the zipper thing. Let's see if we can get that. I do suggest headphones. It's like I'm moving up the note, but it does this thing like. So, it does that. So, I guess I'm on the right track. Who knows? All right, from the REVV G2, I go into the Tremolo. I only use this for harmonic trem. I really enjoy that sound, and the depth is actually very low in it because I typically use this sound for like a lead guitar, because it adds texture. I really like texture things. I really like so when I was younger, I had everything was 0 to 100, right? It was just 100 miles an hour or 0. If I had an effect, the flanger was 100% mix. You know what I mean? I was just like, I gotta hear it. That's what it's for. But anymore, I really like light things because it just adds just a little bit of texture to what I'm playing. And it's like, ooh, what's that? I don't want to mud it out too much. And it can get that way, but I'll show you here. Just here it is. So. So hopefully you can hear the difference between those two on and off, right? Because I'm going to start moving along here. From here, I go into the HX Stomp, actually, and this is where stereo starts. The Stomp has been a lot of fun to put back on the board. I'm not using this to control like on and off and other parameters and swapping presets and patches and whatever. I just use these three. That's what I like, and sometimes it's just these two. And I'll go over that in a second. But again, I use this to sync the delays, and I do use a glitch delay. It's what this is, and then I use particle verb, and I usually use those together. But then I also have a retro reel. The retro reel just makes it even more chewy, kind of like my tremolo did. So here it is. Yeah, it just makes it a little more texture. Like I said, I like that. So the glitch delay and then the particle verb, that just gets wild and fun. But here it is. But I don't use it with just those two, right? I like to use a lot of things, and let me just go ahead and show you that real quick. Yeah, it just really is nice. Like if you got a big sound going on and you're doing something really, really big, you get all these weird glitches and neat sounds, and then all of a sudden it kind of drops like a lot of songs do, right? And then all of a sudden you stop, maybe turn it off because I like the trails going, and then it keeps going and just fades off perfectly. It's so fun. But that's really all I use the HX Stomp for. Honestly, right now, once I get to know this thing so much more, I'm gonna utilize all this so much better. But right now, I'm kind of like an old caveman. But then I move on to the Juliana chorus here. It's just for some width and a chorus sound. I don't use it much. I got a big lag sound on it. Whatever that does, I don't remember. It kind of makes it lo-fi-ish. Here it is. Yeah. It was a chorus kind of sound with like some weird lo-fi-ish going things going on. Again, I like the weird stuff, but not super weird that it's like nobody cares about this. But moving on, this is where my delays actually start. I do use the glitch delay, but not as like a typical delay. It's just texture. It's just like modulation kind of thing. With this London Fog tape delay by Coffee Shop Pedals. This was my favorite pedal actually of 2024. I really liked this thing. How I use it is it's fun because the playback direction can go backwards, it can go in reverse, and it can go middle, and it can go forward. I typically have it going forward because reverse is just all wild, and the middle gets really crazy. But it's super fun. It just does. If you want to have a good time and get really inspired with something, buy one of these, man. You'll just have a good time. But it just does a really good sound right now. I have it on a dual, so it kind of ping pongs. And I control it with this. Again, I use this to just tap everything in, and I'll crank that up. And as you can see, this started going, that one started going more. These don't have it, but it follows, trust me. And then taking it back down to like 72, we'll see, it goes right back down. So I'll turn it on, and this is what it sounds like. Yeah, it's a good tape sound and does some fun things. So this is going to introduce a lot of noise, and this is on purpose. I had to ask him actually, like, hey, what's that noise? Did I do something wrong? But he's like, no, it's just like a cool lo-fi, like really slow playback. So you can take that back out. I like to just have it at one time speed, just normal or whatever. Um, it's just a good sound. And here, let me show you what it does in the middle. Actually, it just does a clashing of the two. Yeah, I just find it a lot of fun, but it does get a little wild mixed with some of the other things that I have going on here. But moving along, I have the Jet Pedals Eternity delay. I can't remember which delay I have set. There's like 6 or 7 different algorithms. This one, I just really like. I like it because I have the dual delay over here, and this one just kind of dies really nice. I think this is like an analog delay, but here that is. Here's that with just the Eternity. Sounds really nice and warm to me. I really like that sound. And then I turn the London fog on oftentimes with that, and it sounds a bit like this. They're great delays. And then, like I said, I use this thing for delays as well, because then the next pedal after the Eternity, I jump all the way back over here to the H90, and I'll show you that kind of delay thing I use. It's a mixture of ultra tap, the zipper verb, and then the multi tap worms algorithms. And so they both kind of have a delay and they're similar, but the way they interact, I really enjoy it. So here's one of them. This is the worms one. Just wild, right? And here's the zipper verb. And then them together. Just creates this really nice, like, space. And it dies down so beautifully. But the other thing I use this for, if I'm not using like those delay kind of things, I'll use this to go back to what's called Black Pog, a preset I made. It's just black hole and a Pog sound. Because I wanted a Pog sound at the beginning and then like towards the end, and just to see what it sounded like. And I'll show you. It sounds really massive, actually. But here's just the black hole sound, and I'll just show you the small reverb, and then I'll turn it on. Very big. And then the Pog sound. So it tracks just fine to me. It's not like 100% perfect, but I don't care about that. This is the sound I really enjoy. I'll turn the black hole on with this other Pog, and so there's this Pog on, this Pog on. Yeah, I'll just turn the softs on. I'll turn all the other delays on too. But okay, I'll turn the Pog on after I play the first note, so you can tell the difference. So it just makes it much bigger sounding. This is dialed back in the mix a bit, so it's not overwhelming. But yeah, it's a fun sound. And so I use this to just toggle between those two sounds. It's called chorus over here for some reason, but I tiled it warm on this. I don't really know what's going on up in the old thinker here. So, but those are the sounds I typically use in that. I do have other presets made, other things made, but I don't use them that much. That's just the flavor of what I like now. But then I jump from here to way over here to the Cortado, and this is the thing you've been hearing all video. It's always on here. It sounds like this with just, like, again, that's like a small hall that I just dialed in, and then I have another preset for it. It's just a big hall. It just has a, I don't know. Sometimes I just like to play only that, and I really like that reverb sound. And I do have a couple halls dialed in on this, the H90 here, but I don't know. I've been really trying to only just use those and just kind of strip everything back. And how does that sound? You know, like. Anyway, it's fun for me. I really am inspired by that, but it typically is on just the small hall, always on. I have some other presets made, and I can cycle through them if I touch them here with my hands. But for this, you can see this kind of towers over everything, and I've saved this kind of for last because it's a big thing. It does tower over everything, and I have this all intentionally laid out so that way I never have to turn these on using those, but I can if something freaks out for whatever reason. But I turn on the London Fog there, turn on the Eternity there, and the Cortado. It just switches between there. And if I turn it off, like you can see, it's gonna turn on. It'll go to the big one, and then there's the small. Yeah, I've really liked this, but I need to get some new cables for over here. There's loops that I can use because I want to put all of my drives in here because it can do up to 6 drives, and I can rearrange the loop order then. It's absolutely nuts. So I don't have to rearrange the actual pedal, right? Or lay out new cables like I have. You rearrange them in here and it works wonderfully. I've done up to 3 because I have TS cables and I've switched them, and I'm like, that's awesome. It's so easy. And this touchscreen makes it incredibly easy. It's super intuitive, very easy to get around, easy. The touchscreen works wonderfully. Yeah, I thoroughly have enjoyed this. It has Uniport, so you can connect other different pedals. Like, for instance, this MIDI is controlled via TRS, and so I'm using the Uniport for that. Yeah, it's been really great. I've loved having this so far. Syncing everything, turning on and off things. I can't wait to start using this as, like, you know, as I do my quad cortex, right? My verse, chorus, and stuff like that. But I've just not dove into it that much. I've actually really focused on getting better at the guitar. And you can too, actually, with worshipartistry.com. We offer a free 21-day trial, and we talk about this all the time, but we've introduced over 700 songs now, and it's just been an excellent journey. We'd love for you to be a part of that and see what's going on over there. So many people are getting confidence. So many people are just getting tremendous, like, yes, this is wonderful. Thank you. Where has this been my whole life? You know, these kind of ideas. But yeah, we think you would really like it. We give you a 21-day free trial, and then you can sign up if you'd like. But that gets you access to everything, not just a few things. But yeah, I've been really focused on learning the guitar and getting better at it. And now I really want to, I've done that for a bit. Now I want to dive back into some effects and see what I can concoct. But I do want to say a huge thanks to Creation Music Company for sending us these boards. And you're going to be seeing Jason's board here soon because he got another V3 as well. It's an Elevation 24, but not the 24 Plus. So it's the same width. It's just a little, not as deep, right? This one's just a little taller. But yeah, these things, they're built wonderfully. They're excellent. They look sharp. They look super good. Killer product, and thank you guys so much for sending them our way. But we hope you guys really enjoy these videos. We try to make them as best we can for you and all the time for you. Let us know in the comments below what you'd like to see. If there's any other pedals we should check out, if you want to see a pedal more in depth, we'll do some gear reviews on those pedals as well. But yeah, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified, and always be blessed. Have a good day.